Carter, Pee Wee, B Miller, Mark Stitt. I can name some more, no cap. That's some real shit. Lil Nick, Bank Street, nigga used to have you sick.
Yo, what up, though? This is your boy, Chris B. Daniels, and you are once again on ShowNTalk. Now, y'all, I'm actually a fan of Canon films. You know, they make a bunch of, like, cheesy action movies, but that was the charm of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love movies like that back in the day. You had Enter the Ninja. You had, what was it? Revenge of the Ninja. And Ninja 3, The Domination. Only one I seen out of those is I seen parts of Enter the Ninja and I seen Revenge of the Ninja. I never seen Ninja 3. You know what I'm saying? From what I saw in reviews and all of that, I just couldn't watch it. It was just too cheesy. You know what I'm saying? You got the Octagon. I believe that was made by Canon Films with Chuck Norris. And then you got the American Ninja franchise. So those movies right there, like, especially American Ninja franchise, like, I like them all except for 5. 5 was just shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of on the fence with 3, but it was better than 5. You know what I'm saying? But the movie that I really want to talk about is Kickboxer. So the last time I was on here, well, the time before last, I talked about Bloodsport. And that's what I believe shot, Van Damme into fame. You know what I'm saying? And then he dropped Kickboxer that next year in '89. So this movie's a little different. Now, to me, you got the two brothers in this movie. You got Eric Sloan and Kurt Sloan. You know what I'm saying? Eric Sloan's played by a real life kickboxer named Dennis Alexio. You know what I mean? He was a big kickboxer back in the day. You know what I'm saying? You could tell, like, he has some nice hands in the movies, especially in the first fight, in the very first fight in the opening of the movie. You know what I'm saying? But the crazy part about his character was that Dennis Alexio had, like, a really light voice from from what I understand. So they had to dub his voice over to make it sound a little more tough. You know what I mean? Now I don't know too much about him. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, but I know he was a kickboxer in real life. You know what I'm saying? Or a martial artist. And you got your boy Jean Claude Van Damme playing Kurt Sloan. You know what I'm saying? The younger brother. So in the beginning, you got the two brothers, right? One of them is cocky, then he becomes humble, while the other one is humble and becomes, somewhat arrogant until the end. So that's how I view the two. You know what I mean? So in the beginning, Eric Sloan, he's in his I guess his final match, the championship match, and then he winds up winning. So while the reporters and everybody are interviewing him, he gets, a little arrogant, saying that nobody can beat him. He's the best pretty much on the planet, on Earth. And then they tell him that, kickboxing was started in Thailand. So he gets even more of a big head and winds up, getting a plane ticket to go to Thailand, him and Kurt. So when they get there, you know what I'm saying? I guess he's popular out there too. So, they doing a bunch of sightseeing, and then Eric winds up picking up a chick, taking her back to the hotel. So the next scene, we see that he's getting ready for his fight with Tong Po. And he tells Kurt to go get him some ice, right? Well, before that, you know what I'm saying, they're doing a little training, you know what I'm saying, outside and all of that, preparing for the fight. And you actually get a backstory to each character. Eric winds up living with his father, and his father's pushing him to do all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Not giving him a break. And then Kurt, he's living with his mother in Europe. And she made him learn 3 languages and take ballet before he even learned how to fight. You know what I'm saying? So that explains his style, you know what I'm saying, in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Before he learns, Van Damme is actually an accomplished martial artist in real life, but you know what I mean. So in the movie, he's supposed to be like not mediocre, but he's an okay martial artist in the movie before he learns Muay Thai. So we get into the arena. And then, in the locker room, you got Eric still acting like, still acting all cocky and arrogant. And he tells Kurt to go get him some ice. And so, Kurt, he's hearing something. Like he's hearing something. It sounds like something is hitting the wall hard or whatever. So when he discovers what's going on, he sees Eric's opponent, Tong Po. And he's like kicking his pillar. And it's like every time he kicks it, it shakes. And it looked like it's about to fall, fall out of the foundation. And so Kurt, this scares him a little bit. So he runs back to the locker room where Eric is, and he tells Eric, he warns Eric not to fight Tong Po because dude is crazy. And then he about took out a whole pillar with just his foot. But again, Eric, not listening to his brother, he decides to go into the arena and try his luck. So the fight starts. And it's one-sided, yo. Like Eric, he just gets destroyed. I counted how many times Tong Po kneed him in the ribs. It had to be like 20 times, 20, 21 times, something like that. But he still got up. He took it like a champ. He got up. And then, he was basically saying, Tong Po wants to street fight and all of that. He's going to give him what he wants. So the next round starts and Eric gets no hits in. Tong Po just devastates him. So when Kurt tries to throw in the towel, Tong Po kicks it back out the ring and he elbows Eric in the spine. You know what I'm saying? So after that, Eric is done. Now, I'm not even going to lie. This part is not supposed to be funny right after they dropped him outside on the stretcher, on the sidewalk. Kurt is, yelling at the two, I guess, dudes that brought him outside, asking him about the hospital. And then you hear his brother he's like, Kurt, you know what I mean? Because he's done, I'm trying not to curse y'all, but he's messed up. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was pretty funny because you went in there acting like a straight G and you came out like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate to say it like that, but yeah, they did you in good. Tong Po did you in good, bro. But yeah, so old boy that was in the arena, I forgot his name was Winston. Because Kurt tries to get a cab driver to take them to the hospital, but he just wasn't understanding. And then Winston came out of nowhere to help him get Kurt in the back of his van. To help him get Eric in the back of his van. So they take him to the hospital, and the nurses come out telling Kurt that he can't see his brother now because I guess he's in ICU or whatever, and to come back the next day. So Kurt winds up staying. And the doctor comes out the next day and basically tells Kurt that his brother is paralyzed, so he won't be able to walk again. And so this pisses him off. And so now Kurt wants to fight Tong Po out of revenge. And Winston is basically telling him no, basically warning him to stay away because if he interferes with what's going on with them, like Tong Po and his people, then it's going to get them all killed. So from this point on, Kurt is obsessed with learning Muay Thai. And he goes to like this school which teaches it. And the school has a poster of, Tong Po on the wall. And the teacher is asking Kurt, what is he doing there? And Kurt is telling him that he wants to learn Muay Thai to fight Tong Po. And so the teacher tells the rest of the class, and they all start laughing at him. So he walks away. And he's still wandering around, trying to figure out what he's going to do. And then when he comes out of this temple, this shrine or whatever, Winston is standing there waiting on him. So Winston knew he was for real. He was serious. And so he winds up taking him to go see Zian Chow, you know what I'm saying? Which, by the way, this is probably my favorite character in the movie. You know what I'm saying? The guy that taught Kurt. So, at first, Winston is telling him the deal is if I take you to go see Jean Chow, then you got to go out drinking with me. So Kurt, at this time, he's still humble. You know what I mean? All he wants to do is learn Muay Thai. He's not interested in nothing else, but he winds up going to the strip club with Winston that night. So the next day, they make it out there to, Zian Child's house. And at first, Zian is refusing to teach him, you know what I'm saying? Because he don't know who he is. He's American, and he figures that, I guess American martial arts isn't as good as Muay Thai or American kickboxing. So what happens is he wants Kurt to go to the store for him, to go, get groceries for him and all of that. And the person he gets the groceries from happens to be his niece. And so when he goes out there, he learns that Tong Po's people is basically extorting like these different store owners, you know what I'm saying, these shop owners for money. And so while Kurt is talking to, the obvious love interest in this movie, the two dudes come up and try to take her money, but he winds up whooping both of their asses. And then they get up and run away, and she's upset by this because she thinks that now Tong Po's people was going to come after her, but he said he was the one that did it, so why would they come after, her? And so later on, the niece, I forgot what her name is already. I ain't even gonna lie, because I wasn't really paying too much attention to her. But because, what I'm saying, I'm into the fighting and whatnot, but I forgot the niece. I'm just gonna call her the niece. But yeah, she comes and tells her uncle what Kurt did. You know what I'm saying? But instead of being pissed off with Kurt, he was actually, happy that it happened. Because he was going to do it himself, but he figured, he put her life in danger if he did. So Kurt could get away with it because he's American and he's not from there. So the training starts, you know what I'm saying, with Zian Chow. And later on, Zian and Kurt, they go to this bar, right? And the infamous scene in this movie that everybody always talks about is the scene where Jean Claude Van Damme starts dancing. And in my opinion, he can't dance, yo. I'm sorry to say it, but he can't dance, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So he's drunk. And this whole thing was just a training lesson, you know what I'm saying? Was just training. So while he's over there dancing with two women, Zian gets up and starts whispering in different customers' ears and all of that, telling them what Kurt supposedly said, which he didn't say, but you know what I'm saying? It was just to make them mad to get up to try to fight him. So Kurt was drunk at this point. And so when the dude started approaching him, he starts taking them out one by one. And he cleaned house. So after that, he walks outside and then he sees Zian Chow talking to Freddie Lee, which is the dude that manages Tong Po. You know what I'm saying? So they're talking, and Zian Chow tells Freddie Lee to bring some of his best fighters to put him up against Kurt. So Kurt winds up having his first official match, and he winds up beating the dude. You know what I mean? And so at this point right here, this is where Kurt gets cocky because everybody starts saying Nuksu Kao, I guess the White Warrior. You know what I mean? That's what they're basically calling him because now people are starting to respect him and recognize him. So he's yelling at Freddie Lee, telling him he wants Tong Po. And so Freddie Lee sets up the match. However, even further into the movie, we find out that Tong Po actually raped Zian Chow's niece. You know what I'm saying? And so when she goes back to Zian's house, informing him what happened. And she doesn't want to tell Kurt because he got to keep his mind on the match. And Zian Chow, he's not going to, do anything yet. He's not going to do anything yet because, I guess he agrees too. You know what I'm saying? That Kurt needs to keep his mind on the match, stay focused. So later on, Eric, he's at the house by himself, I guess training because he can't move his legs. So he's just training, And so he sees these dudes approaching the house and, he rolls off, tries to get away, but one of the dudes catch up with him and he winds up beating his ass from the wheelchair, and then the other two come up. He, starts welling on the other dude, and then I think it was basically Freddie Lee's right hand man comes out of nowhere and knocks him out. You know what I'm saying? And then they flip him out the wheelchair, and then they drag him off to their hideout or whatever. So Kurt and them shows back up, and because the dog Kiki, the henchman, he throws the knife through her. You know what I'm saying? Through her, and then she hits the ground. Not sure if it was a he or a she. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just know the dog's name was Kiki. Wasn't clear on that really, but the dog is still alive. So Zian is pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Because they came and fucked with his dog. You know what I'm saying? And then Kurt discovers that his brother was taken. And then when Winston shows up, you know what I'm saying? Because they pretty much show up at the same time. And so Kurt didn't believe the fact that Winston wasn't there when it happened because of the story that Winston told him when they was in the strip club about, his the person that taught him everything got murdered, you know what I'm saying, in a war, and he didn't do anything about it. So this kind of messes with Winston's head when Kurt told him basically, you walked away before when something like this happened. And so it messed with his head, but it pissed him off at the same time. And he said he's not crossing Freddie Lee. And because the niece, she was begging him to help Kurt find, Eric and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So he said no, he refused. And so, we get into the final stretch really. So and Winston is taking Zen into town, you know what I'm saying, to help, get his dog healed or whatever. So we get into the final stretch because basically what's happening is that Freddie Lee has pretty much blackmailed Kurt into losing. Because, the brother was basically collateral, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you win, we kill your brother. If you lose, everything will be fine. So in the beginning, Tong Po uses his knees to fight Kurt, right? But in the second round, he uses his elbows. But the third round, because they're fighting in the ancient way, they got like this resin, because they're wearing like these rope gloves or whatever. The rope around their fist or whatever. So they dip their hands in the resin and then in glass. That's how they're fighting. So the one thing that I noticed about this particular fight scene in this movie, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but Van Damme's face should have been jello or something. You know what I'm saying? Because all the times, I ain't trying to laugh, man. This shit ain't funny, but all the times Tong Po hit him in the face, he just kept like welling on him in the face. It did welling on him in the abdomen. You know what I'm saying? Like his face should have been done for, because it was just like punch after punch. And then he had glass on his gloves and all of that. So I mean on his on the reps. You know what I'm saying? So he just kept hitting him in the face and then hitting him in the stomach, in the abdomen. And so at this point, Kurt finds out that Tong Po had raped his girlfriend. So, he's pissed off about that she ain't say nothing. And so she, breaks down and winds up telling him. And so at this point, Kurt, he thinks he's about to lose because, like I said before, he had to lose the match in order to get his brother back. So he thought he was going to go in the ring and take even more punishment until his brother showed up. And his brother got the crowd's attention, and now they're rooting for him. I'm not sure it's because they see that, Tong Po was just, out of pocket, or it's just something they did when they got riled up. You know what I'm saying? So, this is when, Kurt decides to get real. So that's her name, Miley. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't know her name. You know what I'm saying? I just kept saying the niece, but her name is Miley. But that's when he tells Miley to cut the gloves from his hands. You know what I'm saying? So Kurt decides to fight him, barehanded, while Tong Po is still using the glass wraps. And so out of nowhere, he just gets the strength. you know what I'm saying, to beat Tong Po. And this happens in a lot of Van Damme movies too, if you haven't noticed. Like, the opponent gets the best of him in the beginning, but then later on, out of nowhere, it's kind of like an ass pull, you know what I'm saying? But I get it, though. That's just how movies were done in the 80s. So he winds up beating Tong Po, and he kicks Freddie Lee, knocking him out. And so everybody's celebrating. Everybody's, happy he won and all of that. But the one scene that I kind of liked in this movie while Van Damme was fighting Tong Po was Jean Chow, you know what I'm saying, sneaking around, knocking dudes out and whatnot. But it didn't last too long because when he got caught, it was like 2 or 3 guys with guns on them. And so out of nowhere, you just see these gunshots, right, from this automatic. And then I think it was a grenade that started blowing shit up. And then next thing you know, you find out it was Winston. Like, he mustered up the courage to come help them out. So everybody pretty much played a part in helping Kurt win. You know what I'm saying? Because they went in, got his brother, and then they brought him back. And then, what's his name? Jean Child. He was pissed. Like, he recognized the dude that threw the knife through his dog. So he took like this hook, and the hook went through the dude. I don't know if it went through his nutsack or what. No homo, but yo, he had the dude hanging up by his pants. You know what I'm saying? That shit looked like it hurt. But yeah, he got his just desserts. And when they, when Kurt won the match, that was pretty much the end of the movie, yo. So, Kickboxer, what do I think? What do I really think? This movie is great. You know what I'm saying? It's a classic. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. The fight choreography is pretty good, and it's realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's down to earth. It's not like these newer movies these days where everything is fast-paced and shaky cam. To hide the fact that a lot of these actors don't really know martial arts like that. But, yeah, Kickboxer. Like I said, I think it's a little better than Bloodsport, in my opinion. It has a lot more action than Bloodsport because Bloodsport was just a tournament movie. You didn't really see a lot of fighting outside of the arena. It was next to no fighting outside of the matches. You know what I'm saying? But this movie right here was a little different. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Kickboxer. And if I gotta give it a grade, I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Just because it was sort of cheesy a little bit, but not really. The acting was okay. The soundtrack was straight, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the fight choreography was good. And the scenery was beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And the quality of the movie, you could tell it's 80s. You know what I'm saying? Just by looking at it. But, yeah. It's a good film overall. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, give me a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will greatly appreciate you. I'm about to jump off of here and go do something with my life. All right? Talk to y'all later. Peace.
The feeling is mutual. Come in, take a seat, share your thoughts with each, and preach it when you speak, so we can share kinetic energy throughout the brainwave. Keep us balanced out and all on the same stage.